ago, in the early days of America, there was a young surveyor named George Washington. George lived in the 18th century when the American colonies were still under British rule. He was known for his honesty, bravery, and strong sense of duty. One story from his early life shows just how important these qualities were. At the age of 16, George Washington was hired to survey a large tract of land in the Virginia wilderness. This was a significant task because the land was vast and filled with thick forests, mountains, and rivers. The job was challenging, but George was determined to do it well. During his journey, George and his team came across a small log cabin belonging to a man named Mr. Ball. Mr. Ball welcomed them warmly and offered them food and shelter for the night. The next morning, George and his crew continued their survey, marking the boundaries and taking measurements. A few days later, as they were making their way through a particularly rough part of the forest, George discovered a hidden and valuable mineral deposit that wasn't listed in any maps. Recognizing its importance, he made detailed notes and took careful measurements. This discovery was critical because it could change the land's value and the future of many people. Later, as George was preparing to return home, he realized that he had forgotten to get a receipt from Mr. Ball for the food and lodging. According to the rules of his job, he was supposed to account for every expense. Instead of ignoring it, George took the time to write a letter to Mr. Ball, explaining the situation and asking for a receipt. He then sent the letter, even though it meant a longer journey and a delay in his work. When Mr. Ball received the letter, he was impressed by George's honesty and dedication. He quickly provided the receipt and sent it back. George's employer was very pleased when he received the accurate and honest account of the expenses and the detailed findings about the mineral deposit. Years later, George Washington became the first president of the United States. His early experience as a surveyor was just one example of the integrity and responsibility he showed throughout his life. The honesty and diligence he demonstrated as a young man earned him great respect and trust. The story of young George Washington and his survey job teaches us an important lesson. Even small acts of honesty and responsibility are important. By always doing the right thing, even when it's difficult, we build trust and respect, and we help shape a better world for everyone. Remember, whether it's returning a lost wallet or doing your best at a task, honesty and integrity are valuable qualities that help us grow into people others can rely on and admire.